Hey everybody, this is Flavio Romeo, and on this episode of the Towncast, we had the opportunity of talking to local New Jersey actor Tony Carradori, who shares his story about working full-time, escaping two near-death experiences, and finally pursuing his life's passion. And make sure you stick around till the end so you can check out Tony's reel. All right, enjoy the episode, everybody. All right, everybody, so here we are. We're at Shortway's Barn in Hawthorne, New Jersey, and there's a very specific reason why we picked this place. So Shortway's has been around. This is 90-plus years that Shortway has been in this place, and it's gone through a lot of iterations. I remember when I was a kid, it was a go-go bar. It was like peeking through, trying to collect money for Little League on Goffel Road. Right. I peeked in, I saw what I thought was a belly dancer. I'd made my whole life. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk to Tony Carradori. Am I pronouncing it?
Yeah, Carradori. Carradori. Yeah,
Carradori.
You got it.
So it's Tony Carradori. If you're not Italian, then it's Carradori.
There you go.
But Tony is you grew up in Hawthorne.
I did.
Born and raised, right?
I moved here when I was 10.
10 years old.
10 years old from Fairlawn. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow, big commute.
Yeah, it was.
Well, when you're 10 years old, it is a big
commute. It was a tough move. But then I went right into St. Anthony's and then Hawthorne High School.
Yeah. So what year did you graduate?
74. We just had our 50th reunion in October.
Wow. All right. Shout out to the class of 1974.
Yes. We had, I think about 189 people showed up. It was amazing.
Who were your favorite teachers? Did you have
good
any?
question. Yeah, well, definitely. Mr. Nolan pops right in my head. My history teacher, amazing guy. First teacher crush would be Julie Zimmerman.
Okay, she watches this.
I know she does.
Shout out to
Julie is
to
one
Mrs.
of.
It's hard for me to call her Julie.
I know.
It's Mrs. Z.
We're on a first name basis. She's a remarkable person, a great human being. She's been a close friend for years and years.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She's the best. She's the best. And who else do I remember? I think one of my favorites still had to be Mr. Levatino, who was my vice principal.
Oh yeah, he was
Big Joe.
He was tough.
He was tough.
He was tough.
The one thing that I always remember about Joe, I would typically get caught smoking in the boys' room once a week and get a 3-day suspension, And it was funny because some of the kids would rat you out, not even the teachers.
Yeah.
But go see Mr. Levatino, and I'd sit at his desk and he'd look at me and go, "Let me guess, smoking in the boys' room again?" I said, "Yeah." As he's lighting one of his cigarettes,
at his desk,
flicking the ashes and blowing the smoke in my face. Now you go home for 3 days. I'm like, at least I could smoke it all.
Right.
But Joe, you know what? After I graduated, you're right. He was a hard ass.
Oh, he was tough.
But he's again one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
When you meet him outside.
When you meet him
school.
outside, yeah.
He was a great guy.
I never had the opportunity of meeting him outside.
Right, I did. Yeah.
We were doing the junior class play, right? And a bunch of us were. Yeah, I know you guys that are watching that were a part of this whole group. So we all met, and Saturday Night Live was big at that time.
Right.
So I always had that acting bug in my body. So we did a kind of an SNL sketch. It was like a 1 hour, all these different sketches, and we put the whole script together. And it took forever. We got it done, and you had to present it to Levatino. He had to prove it. So 3 days before, he said, no. It's like canceling all these sketches. I'm like, now what are we going to do? I don't even remember what we did.
Canceled them all.
It was horrible. We did our best, though. We did our best. But the reason why I wanted to have Tony on is because I love your story. So, obviously, you've been working your whole life, as most of us do. Mm-hmm. But early on, you were working here in town, right, in Hawthorne.
I cut my teeth in sales right around the corner at O'Brien Nissan. I worked for Chuck O'Brien, who is still one of my best friends to this day, and my mentor, without a doubt. I mean, when I got there, I had already known a little bit about sales. I was pretty good, and it was easy selling in the town you grew up in because
Right, everybody
all my
trusts you,
friends
they
and their
know you.
families would
Yeah,
come.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Well, the ones that knew me well didn't come to me, but that's another story
They
for
knew
another
better.
day. But
It's a
actually,
different show.
right? But actually, what Chuck taught me really was how to treat people, not just customers,
Yeah.
just people in general. And he's awesome.
Well, that's why they've been
He's a
around
great
for
guy.
forever.
Yeah, they were around forever. Sad day when they sold it, though.
Yeah.
Very sad day. It was another, like when I was growing up as a kid, a lot of them sponsored our little league
Oh,
teams.
absolutely.
And stuff. So you had Chet Decker Dodge over
I was on Chet
You were
Decker.
on Chet Decker with Mr. Cabral.
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Another hard ass.
Right? Paul's Motors right across the
Yeah.
street. They were here forever and ever. And Hawthorne Chevy's been around
Yeah,
forever.
yeah.
And depending on what kind of car you wanted to buy, but you were buying it from somebody in town,
Right.
Usually, so it was fairly easy.
And that's why I always stress, I don't care what I'm doing, but I always stress you have to support your local businesses because places like, and I'm as guilty, I buy on Amazon, I buy Walmart.com, Wayfair, whatever.
Sure.
But support your local businesses because those places don't give to the community.
Right.
They're not sponsoring
Right,
the baseball
exactly.
team. They're not sponsoring the softball
Exactly.
team.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I always encourage people.
without a doubt. So that was fun, being here. I think I was just trying to think on the way up here. I think I left Hawthorne. I was 33 the last time I lived here with my kids.
All right. And where'd you go after that?
Actually, after that, I ended up going
Witness protection program?
similar, but no, that was later when we moved to the Poconos. That was easier.
that's the
That
witness
was
protection
easier up there.
program.
I was working for Dun and Bradstreet in Pennsylvania, and just so happened when I got my license plates in Pennsylvania to renew them, it was GVT, some 3 numbers, whatever it was. I convinced one of my managers comes up to me. He's a typical laid back Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania kind of guy, scared of everything.
Yeah.
And he says, he goes, "Are you really in the witness protection program?" Because I made that announcement the first day I started working there. And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I am." He goes, "Come on, man, you're just making that story." I'm like, "Listen, go outside and look at my license plate.
Government plates.
I got government plates. That means if they're going to pull me over, they're not going to leave me alone. That says I'm in the witness protection. GVT." And I didn't tell him until about 3 years later when I was long gone.
Yeah. See, that's a salesman right there.
That's a
you
sales.
can sell that.
You sell that, you sell anything.
So you've been selling your whole life.
Yeah, I was in sales my whole life. Yeah.
And then comes the time you had to make a choice. Am I going to keep grinding?
Right.
Or am I going to retire?
Yeah, I went for the retirement and the naps in the afternoon and all that good stuff. And I was 63 when I retired early, and then was working part time at a gym in Hazlitt down the shore, keep me busy, something to do. And then COVID hit, and all 7 facilities went bankrupt. So, but that's when I ended up after COVID with really nothing to do. And the way it came about that I got into acting basically was just a lucky night in Asbury Park. My favorite haunt. I've been since I got my license here in Hawthorne. Every weekend I was in Asbury Park.
And that's home of the Garden State Film Festival.
Of course,
Yeah,
absolutely. More importantly, the Stone Pony, the Wonder Bar, all the hot. That's my music scene to this day. That's my music scene. But I was down there one night at the Wonder Bar, and Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos, who played Big Pussy. If you watch The Sopranos. Great guy, does a lot of work for veterans. And every Veterans Day, I was just there in November, he does a Vietnam Veterans Night. All the veterans come in for free, they eat,
wow.
they drink, and Vinny's got a band, Vinny Pastore and the Mob Squad. But horns, and they're really a good band. They don't let Vinny sing much, so it's good. But he's a great guy, and I got to know him real well.
I'd love to promote that. I mean, if he's looking
Oh
for,
my God,
for
of
promotion,
course.
I'd love
Yeah,
to promote that.
he'd come up here and see you.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
I'll go down there.
He's very good friends with my acting teachers too. I'm sure he would do that for you. But I also met Artie Pasquale. Artie Pasquale was on The Sopranos for a long run, and with Artie, if you saw his picture, you'd remember him. His character was Bert Gervasi.
Oh, I'll put a picture up.
Yeah. But the way you want to remember him, if you're a Sopranos fan, towards the end, when every week people are getting killed off, Steve Van Zandt, Silvio, chases Bert around Bert's house and gets him in the house and strangles him with a garrote. Okay. And I saw an interview with Artie talking about that scene. They said to him, "How do you play choking to death? Because it looks so real."
Yeah.
He said, Steven and I did that at least 10 times. It's rubber, first of all, so he's not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get it where I really felt like I was dying. So I said to him, "Steve, just freaking choke me like you're killing me.
Yeah.
And he said, if you look at it, I couldn't breathe. He literally was killing me.
Really?
That's how they got the shot, you know?
That's what looks so good.
That's how they got the shot. But real quickly, my favorite story that he told me, then I saw him in an interview verify this for me. He said, so on The Sopranos, every week, they'd sit down to read the script for that week's show before they start rehearsing, right? Big table read. And he said, if you flipped it over and your name was on the back,
that was it. That's how you knew.
Your character was getting killed.
That's how you knew.
That's how you knew.
Oh, that's so
So Artie
funny.
said, being very superstitious, he said from day he was on the show the whole run. Never did I turn that over. I was too afraid to look,
You didn't want
and
to
I
know.
never looked. He said, and one day,
It's like you're actually getting whacked.
exactly, and then your career, your money's gone too.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
forget,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Your job
More
is over.
importantly.
Your job is over. But he said one day he's sitting there, just getting ready, and Jim Gandolfini walks by him and goes, "Nice working with you, Artie."
Oh, he busted his chops.
He knew he was gone.
Oh,
and
that-
he flipped
that-
it over, and there
he
was
knew.
his name. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. There's so many great stories with those guys.
So,
There's
you know, I know I've got
Yeah.
a lot of friends that are in the business. And, you know, some very successful, some struggling. My daughter,
Yep.
you know, is a perfect example.
Yep.
So here you are. You meet these people, and tell me that
so,
exchange.
So I meet these people, and I was at that point in my life where I had regressed back to my childhood dreams again. Like I don't know.
You never
about
put them away.
You never do, and you're an actor. You can understand this. I can remember being 10 to 15 years old and put my head on a pillow at night, and I'm imagining myself in my favorite TV shows that I watch.
Oh, yeah.
Right, like I'll be Beaver's other brother, and
Yeah,
whatever it may be.
I have
right?
my Oscar acceptance speech.
Absolutely. Oh, I got mine written too. Mine's all ready to go. It's funny, right? But it's true. It's really true. And so now I'm there laying in bed at night as an adult at 65 years old thinking, wouldn't it be something if Vinny Pastore at the Wonder Bar one night says, hey, you want to be in the movie? You got a good look. Well, I don't know how acting works. It could have been that, but it didn't happen. But anyway, Artie Pasquale, the first night I met him, I shook his hand. I said, big fan of yours. He goes, looks at me, you an actor? I'm like, oh, man, I wish. I said, I've been dreaming about that since I was a kid. Go take lessons. I'm 65. I'm 75. I'm still acting. You can't be too old to be an actor. I mean,
Right.
what do I know?
Yeah.
I'm too old for school? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I never acted in my life.
Look at De Niro, Pacino. They're all in their 80s.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with that, that same night, this is just how fate works out. That same night, I went out on the side of the Wonder Bar. You don't have to go out the building to have a cigarette. There's one guy out there. And I walk over to share the ashtray, and I say, how you doing? He goes, wow, you look really familiar. Where are you from? I know you from somewhere. I'm like, I grew up in Hawthorne. He goes, well, I'm from Kenilworth. I said, no, I don't think I've been through Kenilworth,
Yeah.
So we didn't know each other, but it was that instant connection. It just seemed like a nice Italian guy to me.
Right. Aren't we all?
I think so. I got a couple.
There's a few.
There's a few. But that's the minority. But I said, what do you do? He goes, believe it or not, I'm an actor. I'm like, really? He said, yeah, honestly, he said, I just stepped in shit. I'm like, what do you mean? Looks like a young Al Pacino. He's a good-looking guy. He's in his early 50s. He said,
You remember his name?
yeah, oh yeah, he's a good friend of mine now. Emilio De Fabio.
Wow.
Not too Italian, right?
No,
Not too
geez.
Italian at all.
I thought Flavio Romeo was.
No, Emilio De Fabio. Wow. Him and his dad ran a construction company in...
Of course they did.
Of course they did. not sanitation, real construction.
Right.
But this is in Cranford. That's where we
Okay.
grew up also, okay?
Yeah.
So he said he called into a podcast one night, like yours. It was Gary Pastore, who's Vinny's cousin, who's a very good, he's done a lot of things acting. He's a very good actor.
Yeah.
A lot of movies you would recognize if you Google him, right?
Yeah.
So he's talking to Gary, and Gary gets into this. Emilio's the caller, calling in. They're getting into that argument about sauce and gravy. And Emilio feels like I do. He says, Gary, gravy I put on my turkey on Thanksgiving.
That's
it's
it.
sauce.
Exactly.
It's sauce.
It's not even an argument.
There's no argument.
No.
But somehow they get into this great conversation on the air, and now it's over, and he gets a call back later from Gary Pastore, and Gary says, hey, you're a pretty interesting guy. Let's have lunch tomorrow. All right, so they go have lunch, and he says, man, he goes, I'm an actor. He goes, you should be an actor. You got the look, you got everything. Just go do background work or something, see what it's like.
Yeah.
He goes, so I flew down to Miami and got into this big feature film Background. His luck that day was that Diana Carter is this huge agent in Hollywood. She's tremendous. Happened to be on the set that day for another reason. Saw him. He didn't act. He was just a background. He said, I love your look. I want to sign you. And that was 4 years ago.
Wow.
And he is now on the verge of, as an actor, you could appreciate this. I can't tell you any details about
Right, of
this.
of course.
He just got a lead role in a feature film, Lionsgate Films. This is big time.
Really?
With 3 A-list actors, and he's got the lead through my agent. Yep. And she said to him, like, your career's going to blow up now. Like, you're going to do talk shows before the movie.
Yeah.
You're not going to need
Right,
me anymore.
right.
People are
You
going to
gotta
want
do-
to
you
work
gotta do
with
the whole
you.
press circuit.
Right. So he's like one of my best friends now.
That's awesome.
We're like brothers. And so when Artie put that seed in my head, go take lessons, I couldn't sleep that night. I'm like, you know what? 2 near-death experiences.
You did?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, like 2 years before that.
What happened?
Once up here on Route 287, that lovely highway with all the tractor-trailer trucks, Chuck O'Brien, every year after we have an anniversary get-together, the 3 other salesmen, me and Chuck and his son, and I was coming from Midland Park, going up to Pennsylvania, so I'm taking 287. Nothing on the road. No snow, no ice, no rain, no deer, nothing around me, no other cars, and my windshield implodes into my face. Like something fell from the sky. Yep, I could feel my big scar on my head. My head, the blood is rushing. I knew my nose was broke. I didn't know what happened.
Wow.
So I was in shock.
Did you ever figure out what it
Oh
was?
yeah. I had my wife on speakerphone sitting on my seat. She heard the crash. She's like, "Where are you?" I'll call 911. I was totally in shock. I couldn't think of what to do, except it dawned on me that my car is now broken, a black car, in the left lane of 287 in the dark. I'm going to get killed if I stay in this car.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got out, but I did. And I stood on a cement divider. 911 called me after she talked to them. And the guy's like, you got to stay on the phone with me. I don't know how bad you're hurt. I don't want you to pass out. You could have a concussion. I don't know what's going on. So I stood there basically.
Your wife must have been
She was freaking.
a lunatic.
Yeah. And I'm just standing there in the cold. It was freezing. I had a suit and tie on. That's it. And I'm covered in blood. And I'm standing on a cement divider and I'm watching all the cars go by. Nobody stopped. You know, like I would have at least pulled over to the side of the road and say, hey, do you need me to call anybody? Is somebody coming for you? Because
Something.
No, not one. So a Montville police car came. I'm like, thank God, because I'm freezing. Young cop got out. What happened? I said, I don't know. It's like something fell out of the sky. He goes, all right, let me go look at your car. I said, let me sit in your car. I'm freezing. He said, I can't let you sit in the car. You're bleeding.
Oh,
I said, excuse
really?
me? I went off on this kid like you can't imagine. 'Cause first of all, I think I might die anyway. Let me just give it to him. I'm like, what are you, out of your mind? Thank God a state trooper came by, and he said to the kid to leave. And the trooper went and looked at my car and said, you had a tractor-trailer tire, probably from the other side of the highway, hit the divider.
Just bouncing.
He said, that thing's coming at you about 100 miles an hour, and you're going this way 65. And it was I have a picture, I'll show you. It was a bullseye to my face.
We're gonna put it up here.
Oh yeah, people have seen it.
Yeah,
They've cringed on
send it to me.
Facebook. Every anniversary I post it. But literally the next day when I went to get stuff out of my car, when I hadn't seen the car, I looked at it, I almost threw up, like, oh my God. And I sat down and the metal roof stopped right here, right there. And in fact, the state trooper said to me, he said, how did you get out of the car? I'm like, I don't remember. He said, we pull bodies out of the car that this happens to. You have a guardian angel with you. You're meant to do something else in your life, I'm telling you.
This podcast.
Yeah. Well, and here I am.
You were meant to do
and
this.
Here I am.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't
God
that
bless
amazing?
you.
It's amazing. And then 2 years later.
Hard not to believe in God when something like that happens and you walk
Nah,
away.
there was no reason for me not to have been killed, seriously. And then 2 years after that, just before the acting gig, I was walking the dog outside in the summer, about 100 degrees, real humid day, 5th day in a row. Start walking here, my legs are getting real heavy, and I'm getting dizzy. I'm like, maybe this is heat stroke. I never had it before.
Yeah.
Let's go home. By the time I opened my door, I had a pain in the middle of my chest, right down my arm, on the shoulder, like a classic heart attack.
Wow.
Walked in the door, got nauseous, looked at my wife. She goes, what's the matter with you? I said, nothing. I just got to lay down. She's like, I'm calling the ambulance. Because she knew right away something was wrong. That's when we just want to go back to bed. We're a guy. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
No. They came in, the EMTs. You had a minor heart attack. We're going to get you to the hospital. Okay. Get to the hospital, and 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, I'm saying to them, I still got this pain. It's not going away. So we're going to keep you overnight for observation. Okay. 1 o'clock in the morning. This is during COVID. Cardiologist opens my curtain. He's got a mask on. He goes, acute heart attack. I'm like, this morning. He goes, no, now. I'm like, now?
You're having a heart attack right now.
Rapid response 305. That's my room. And here they come. I had 20 people in my room in 10 seconds. I had a massive heart attack. But they had to wait to get me to the operating room to put the stent in. So like literally, if they didn't keep me overnight to play it safe, I would have been dead. So that's 2 times then. I had to sit and say to myself, well, wait a minute. Like, I know I've lost a lot of people recently, and I just came close twice. There's got to be another thing for me to do with life here. I can't just sit here and do nothing anymore, you know? And then that fell into my lap, and I said, this is it. This is what I was meant to do.
This is why, yeah.
This is what I was meant to do. And, you know, God knows I have a lifetime of experiences to bring into my characters.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you could always tap into something.
And if not, you've met enough people.
Exactly, without a doubt.
Enough characters.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Here, your recommendation, no, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Your recommendation is take classes. Did
not only take classes with Ronnie Marmo in L.A.
Okay.
Via Zoom. I called Emilio after Artie told me I should look into lessons.
Yeah.
Emilio, I found this school in Freehold. No. Call Ronnie Marmo. That's who I learned from. Ronnie loves people that never acted before. Ronnie grew up in Woodbridge.
Okay. Oh, wow,
He's
really?
a very accomplished director, writer, actor, producer. You name it, he does everything.
Shout out to Ronnie.
Ronnie's amazing. Everybody in Hollywood knows him.
All right, we'll put his contact information right on the screen.
He's my boy. Him and his wife, Janelle, my acting teachers. I've been with them for 4 years. And it's funny because I never forgot when I signed up for the lessons, I had about 2 weeks to wait for them to start. Yeah. And I'm so excited, you know, and I'm reading library books on acting and all this other stuff.
Yeah, because everything was online.
Yes, and I had no idea what to expect at all. Nothing, you know. And I started on August 17th, which is my grandmother's birthday, which is why I remember the date so well.
Oh, nice.
2 days before, I had this unbelievable panic attack. Something I had not planned out when I decided to go pursue acting, which was, I thought to myself, I could read something right now and 5 minutes later I forgot it. Like, how the hell am I going to memorize lines? I'm 65 years old. Can't remember what I had on yesterday.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But then somehow you know, when you realize, when you're put on the spot and you have to learn it, you figure out a way. So I got real comfortable with that stuff. You know, I got real comfortable with that stuff. And I was in class about 9 months, and I said to my wife, I got to start auditioning. Like, this is it. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And Ronnie was encouraging me at that point. You know, go put yourself out there.
Get on your feet, yeah.
So many years ago, in 1979, I wanted to be a stand-up comic. That was my goal, my first goal.
All right.
And I went out to Hollywood. And I lived on Sunset Boulevard, and I got to meet all the big
Laugh
comedians.
Factory's there.
Yep,
Yeah,
it was the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And one night I was out. I
store.
had done a short 5-minute thing that I wrote. Was outside having a cigarette. Jay Leno came out. All the big names were hanging out there in the 70s. The big names, Carlin and Pryor, all those guys. And Jay Leno looks at me and goes,
That was their gym.
Yes.
That's where they worked out.
Yes, and that was where they rehearsed their new material for free.
Yeah.
So it was fun. And I got to know them all for a brief time. Wasn't out there that long. Got very homesick. But anyway, he comes out one night and he goes, where are you from? Which obviously the accent is not L.A., right? I said, New Jersey. He goes, the hell are you doing out here? I'm like, what am I doing out here? Oh, I want to be like you guys. I want to be, this is my goal. I want to be, he goes, everything's in New York now. I'm like, what? I just moved. What? Okay, back home I went. Got a job with Nissan, got married, had some kids, then that was the end of it. You know, that was the end of that dream. So I kept saying to my wife, when I get started acting, I just want to do drama. I want to be a serious actor. That's something I've always wanted to do. You know, I did the comedy thing. I'm good.
Do you know that was Robin Williams wanted to do the same thing? He
Yes.
wanted to be
Yes.
a dramatic.
Yes.
One of his acting teachers at Juilliard was my acting coach.
Okay, great.
Fred Rolfe, the late Fred Rolfe, may he rest in peace.
Oh.
And he, told a lot of stories. And he said, you want to do something.
Of course.
And it doesn't always work out that way.
Right, exactly. So what do? I got to get something on my resume. So I auditioned for and got a part in a play called The Sketch of New York at the Producers Club off Broadway.
Oh, nice.
So here I am doing comedies. First thing I'm doing, I said I wasn't going to do
Exactly.
And it was a lot of fun. And then I got
And Meryl Streep, by the way, wanted to do comedy.
Right, and ended up being so dramatic, right, and so wonderful. But and then it was funny because then someone who was in the audience one of the nights we did the show called me because they had our info up outside the theater, so they wanted to get a hold of us with our headshots and the whole thing. Yeah. She said, "Hey, I wrote a play that I'm doing at the Tank Theater. I'd love you. Would you play?"
Oh, the Tank is a cool space.
It's a very cool. Isn't it cool? There's so many great shows there.
One of my daughter's friends wrote and produced a play and put it up, and I was like, how do I
Fabulous.
not know about this space?
It's fabulous,
Yeah.
right? It's great. It was so much fun, and I played the father of the reluctant father of a bride. So
okay.
it was fun. Good time. So now I have 2 of them under my belt, but that's it. Like I still want to do a movie. I want to. So Ronnie always taught me, one of the very first things he said to me was, don't be like other actors that won't do a student film
Oh yeah.
because you don't get paid.
Right.
He said, let me ask you something. This is their final grade. They're graduating from NYU.
You know it's gonna get
Tisch.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to get done. Not only is it going to get done, he said, but where do you think the next filmmakers come from?
Right.
The directors, the producers, they come out of these schools.
Yeah.
He goes, you work for free for them and they like you, and it's happened to me twice already, where I've gotten a call almost a year later. Tony, I got a part for you. I got a small budget, but I got a part for you. Great,
Right.
let's do it. You know, they remember you because you do it for free.
Yeah, yeah. And plus, as an actor, you need to build a reel.
Exactly.
So take parts that you can just to get that.
And that's what I did.
the
Exactly right.
credits.
I got the reel. I got the credits. I got everything. I did a bunch of short independent. I think I've done over 20 short films. Probably 5 of them were student films. The rest were like short independent films for festivals.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
never became of anything yet. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you
But
just
at least
don't know.
at least they get produced.
They get produced. It's art. You did it. It's more experience. The whole thing. And then I did an Amazon Prime pilot show where I played an attorney. And believe it or not, I was just supposed to play background. There's a guy in Red Bank that was looking for background people, and I'd never done it before. But just to see a good film being made,
Yeah,
it's okay.
see the process.
It's a big budget.
Yeah.
They're trying to get it onto Amazon. Okay, so I go as a background. I literally got out of the car. The director's outside. He goes, "You're Tony, right? I can tell by your picture." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I got a role for you. Come here."
No.
He handed me 4 pages of a script.
How great
Yeah,
is that?
it was unbelievable.
But the thing is, and this is what I stress to a lot of my friends, and I've told my daughter, if you don't put yourself out there,
Yep.
you're not going to be out there.
Exactly.
So you can't
Exactly.
sit back and wait for people to call
No,
you.
no.
Get the jobs, get the work, and
Yep.
and listen, if you're watching this and your child or your friend or your grandfather, your father, you want to get started in the business, just do the work.
Exactly.
Because it's the same thing if you think of stand-up comedy.
Right.
You got to do 5 minutes before you can do an hour.
Exactly.
So start.
Yes.
It's working out. It's working out.
And even established actors and name actors today, the industry at the moment is very, very slow. And they'll just tell you, create your own.
Especially now.
Yeah.
When you can
What you
put-
need is your phone.
You can put stuff on YouTube for free.
Exactly.
You can put stuff on Instagram. You can put stuff
Exactly.
on TikTok. Create.
Yes.
Create.
Yes.
Keep busy.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's
Even if
That's-
you're just
that's the whole part.
Even if you're just doing monologues,
yes.
get your monologues and
Yep.
put it out there. Just have a whole list of monologues.
Throw
Get it.
'em
So,
out.
so as soon as someone says, "Where can I see your work?" Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Here,
There you
here's
go.
my YouTube page.
Yeah.
Check it
People
out.
ask me that sometimes, like, you want to hear a monologue? I'll do it right now for you. I got like 5 of them in my back pocket that I love, and they're like part of me now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But that's great because you never know, on an audition, it could be a Zoom audition, a live audition, whatever, where they like you and they say, "Can you show me something else? Can you do a monologue or something?" Yeah. What would you like?
What do you
What would you
want?
like?
Yeah.
What do you want? I got one for you right here.
See,
yeah.
I did years ago. I did improv. And I had an improv group in the city. And,
Yep.
And I came up with the idea of doing improv-alogues.
There you
So
go.
it's like if I don't have something, give me a topic. What,
Yeah.
What's your worst nightmare? What's this? And then you just break into a monologue.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. So I know you got to wrap up soon, so I'm going to just give you what I got going on coming up, which is really exciting. Shooting episode of a series up in Cranford.
Which you can't talk about right
Can't
now.
talk about all the specifics, but Diana Carter, my agent, she's actually my manager, but she also owns her own public relations company, production company.
Oh, wow.
She's got 8 things in production right now.
Really?
Yeah. Casting company. She's global clients. She's just huge.
Yeah.
And when she signed me in January, she said, I'm going to sign you now. I'm also going to cast you in episode 3 of the series we're doing. It's called Don't Look Back. It's a horror series. I'm like, great, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Horror? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's going to be 10 episodes. So it was supposed to be last month, and she called me and said 2 of the lead actors in LA are very sick. So we're going to cancel the 4-day shoot for now. But when she called me back, she said, now we're going to do 5 scenes in New Jersey, then I got to bring you out to LA to finish it. L.A. Okay, sounds good to me.
But now you have a reason to go
now
back.
now I don't have to stand there dreaming anymore. I'm doing what I've always dreamed of, you know. And one thing I have to tell you, which I love, is when people come up to me and say, you know what, it's so great that you're never too late to follow your dreams. You're like
100%.
the poster child, right? I was 65. 100%. But I'll tell you what, I said, not only did I follow my dream, this is making all of my dreams come true. They're like, what do you mean? Like, when I was a kid, sometimes I dream of I want to grow up and be a detective, right?
Boom.
Yeah, I want to be a professional baseball player.
Boom.
I could play that too. Whatever you want, you could find those roles
Yeah.
too. And for those, how many days you're part of it, that's your character. You're a fireman those for 4 days, you know,
Yeah,
the things you wanted to do as a kid.
And you have to have faith, and I always say, people don't fail; they quit before they succeed.
Absolutely.
And
You're
especially
absolutely
in this
right.
business,
You got to be
because
persistent.
you
You can't give up.
You can get so disgruntled.
Yep.
And no matter, in this industry, no matter what side of the industry, I have friends of mine that are behind the camera, in front of the camera,
Yep.
the side of the cameras, they
Yes.
take down the wires, you know, and it's just finding the next job, just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
That's it.
Because
that's all you can do.
nothing-
You do the work. Just
Yeah.
keep doing the work. Get as many of those auditions as you can. And good things happen. You know, you meet the right people. You get lucky along the way, and things change. So
Not a
it's all
bad
good.
second career, right?
Not bad at all. It's actually probably the most passionate thing I've ever done in my life. It used to be golf before acting.
Oh, really?
I haven't touched a golf club in 5 years.
I gave my golf clubs away.
I'll do a golf movie if I can. But
There you go. I don't
would
golf,
rather-
but I could play a golfer
Exactly.
on TV.
Exactly. I'd rather be doing, studying the script than playing golf today. It's just too much fun. It's just too much fun. You know?
I love that you're sharing your passion, but also encouraging those that are struggling. And it doesn't matter what you're struggling. It doesn't matter what career you're in, whatever your struggle is. You're a writer or you're whatever it is. You know, it's not giving up. It's just keep doing it.
Right. It's don't have a plan B. You're going to do it no matter what. No
Right.
matter how you're going to get there, you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
And that's
right?
you
just keep going.
He's talking to Nina. He's talking to you, Nina. He's talking to my daughter, Nina.
There you go,
because
Nina.
she said it herself. She said,
Yeah.
"I don't have a plan B.
Great, and that's what
It's
you want.
either going to happen or that's it. There's no,
Yeah. And
there is no. It's going to happen.
Then you could say to her confidently, if you have that attitude, you're going to be successful.
100%.
You will be.
That's why I have
you will be
I
successful.
I have no doubt in my mind.
No doubt
But you
at
have to
all.
keep putting yourself out there.
Right.
You have to keep.
Right.
Just be persistent and go and make contacts and
Meet as
network.
many people as you can. Yep, that's the bottom line. So the last thing I want to just mention to you, because it's in very early production, but I thought about this about a year ago, and only very recently did I start jotting down ideas. I want to write a one-man show, and it's called Growing Up Hawthorne.
Oh, nice.
And I'll need a connection to get me into the auditorium for the seats, but
No problem.
there's so many things that I could write about growing up in this town.
Yeah.
That people will, no matter what age you are, you'll remember and appreciate.
Well,
it's a great town to grow up in.
But it's also, there are so many Hawthorns across the country
Without a doubt.
that people can relate to.
Yes.
That's the whole thing behind the Towncast is,
Right.
We focus on Hawthorne, Patterson, Glen Rock, Fair Lawn, White, these small little communities
Yes.
in northern New Jersey, but there are these communities everywhere.
Yes.
And the stories, the subject might change a little bit, but the storyline is
Oh
the
yeah,
same.
it is.
I'd love to read it when
just
it's done.
beautiful, beautiful memories.
Yeah.
Some fun, a lot of sad ones too, but a lot of funny stuff. And I think it would be great. I'm inspired by Ronnie, my teacher. Ronnie wrote and stars in a play he wrote called "I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce,"
Oh, yeah.
and it's nationwide.
Yeah.
It opened in New York before COVID.
Yeah.
And now it's all across the country. All across the country.
He wrote it?
He wrote it. He does it. He becomes Lenny Bruce, and Joe Mantegna directed it.
No kidding.
Joe is Ronnie's very good
I
friend.
remember when it first
yes,
came out.
It's such a moving story. My wife and I went to see it in Red Bank when he came on the East Coast. He performed it there because he grew up nearby and wanted his friends to come.
Sure.
And my wife said to me, "I've never seen anything like that in my life." Just
quite a
sobbing. We were
story.
sobbing.
It's-
Laughing and then sobbing. And it's
my
an
wife's
amazing
reading
sto-
his book right now.
It's an amazing story because if it wasn't for him, there would be no George Carlin,
Right.
Richard Pryor. He fought for the freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And his addiction problems and his family problems. You really get to know him.
Died
You know,
young.
I've seen it 4 times. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw it, I drove out to Pittsburgh because my good friend from Hawthorne, Jeff Matthews, shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff.
One of the best athletes to ever come out, ever come out of Hawthorne High School. Jeff played for Pitt.
Oh, wow.
Out there, yeah, and then never came home.
He stayed there.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. And I went to see him, and I said, I'm coming to see you, but I'm taking you and your wife to see my acting teacher's show because it's so good. Yeah, and they loved it. Yeah, it's
well,
great.
hopefully it'll come
so
back
that,
around.
But that inspired me to say, you know what? I know it's 90 minutes, and that's a long monologue, man. 90 minutes.
That's
is
a lot of words.
It's a lot of words, and
but for me,
it's different. Exactly, because I'm going to be telling true stories.
You're living it.
You know,
Yeah,
and you can go off script a little bit and just run a little bit with something, right?
And here's the thing. No one knows the script.
Exactly.
I say this all the time with actors, especially when you're on stage, because I do a lot of stage.
Yes.
A lot of stage work, and it's like, if you forget a line, you drop a line, your partner forgets a line, you know the story, you know the foundation, just keep it going. No one has the script in their hands.
No one knows that you just messed up.
The director might crush you at the end of it, but no one knows it. Tony, thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure, man. It's been so good to see you.
Keep me posted on your play. And
I will.
listen, when Ronnie's show comes around,
yes,
I'd love to get him on and help him promote
absolutely. That's a guy. You know what? If you want to get him on, he does a lot Zoom if you ever want to.
I would love to.
He's out in Hollywood.
Yeah,
but I think
that's fine. I would love to.
Because his story, mind-blowing. You'll love it.
Yeah.
How he got where he is, mind-blowing.
I would love to.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
All right, pal.
So listen, there's a lot of great advice here. Whether you're a performer, you're not a performer, whatever business you're in, it's follow your passion. Don't give up on your dreams, because like I said, people don't fail; they quit before they succeed. So hang in there, keep the faith, and keep an eye out for this guy. And every time, follow him on IMDb. You can watch him on IMDb.com. Yep. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram, and check out his career. I mean, and maybe some of you bought a car from him back.
Oh yeah, there's plenty. Yeah, there were a lot of Nissans.
Datsuns at that time.
Datsuns first, then Nissans. Yeah, there should be plenty of them still floating around. I think they were good. Yeah, it's been great. It's been really nice talking with you. It's very, very good. And yeah, like he just said, I mean, you're never too late to follow your dreams. And listen, we're only here once.
That's it.
That's the way I look at it. We're only here once. If there's something you want to do inside of you that's a little bit artistic or off the wall, whatever it is, just do it.
And you're never too old to do it.
You can do it anytime. Exactly. You're never too old for anything.
Now I'm all encouraged again.
That's right. See? That's good. Maybe we get to work together sometime.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Listen,
thank you, my friend.
Thank you again. Keep an eye out for this guy, all right?
Salute, everybody.
Right. Be well, everybody.
Good, young man?
I'm fine.
I'm sure that you are.
So what's it going to take for you to do your job before I do mine?
I'll talk, and then you never call here again.
Henrik, money's on the line.
I don't give a shit about your fucking money. If you had any bit of empathy, you would try to understand what I've been through and what I've seen. The phone's been ringing for 10 straight minutes.
You're stupid! Weird, poison my wife!
He was the one who told me to give me the plain coke.
How dare you! You motherfucker!
But I told you guys, I didn't get a good look.
Wrong place, wrong time.
I was in the food store. I was just shopping and...
Buying SpaghettiOs.
How did you know that?
Guess what else I know?
You don't know shit.